governors, like Scott Walker, have made their names stomping on workers' rights. And practically all the Republican candidates hope to do the same as president. I will fight back against these mean-spirited, misguided attacks.
Welcome back to Newsmax Prime. Joe Pagliarulo in for J.D. Hayworth. Hillary Clinton took to the stage at the New School in New York to outline her economic plan, should she be elected president. In addition to that, she took the opportunity to blame the GOP candidates, you just saw that, notably Jeb Bush and Scott Walker, for being the cause, she said, of income inequality. The right has not been shy about picking a fight with Hillary, and now it seems like she's ready to continue the bout. We welcome to Newsmax Prime Liz Peek, columnist for Fiscal Times, and former Deputy Staff Secretary under President Clinton, David Goodfriend. Thanks a lot, both of you, for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so I want to start with you, David, if you don't mind. Hillary Clinton naming Scott Walker and Jeb Bush in the speech, does that mean she's afraid of them?
Oh, no, she's going to take them down, whichever one becomes the nominee. And I'll tell you something, what's really interesting is you don't have to really go hypothetical here. Both of these men, Scott Walker and Jeb Bush, have been governors in states, and a lot of the times they like to talk about all the great things they did as governor. But let's just take my home state of Wisconsin. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. Used to be that Wisconsin outcompeted our neighbor, Minnesota. We used to love the fact that the Packers beat the Vikings, that Wisconsin would beat Minnesota in economic output and employment and everything else. It's completely reversed now. The Packers are still winning, but Minnesota is cleaning Wisconsin's clock. And why is that? Well, as Scott Walker was dismantling wages and manufacturing and public investment in infrastructure, Minnesota was doing just the opposite, exactly the opposite. And now Minnesota's economy is booming. What's going to be very interesting in this election is we're going to be able to see, like little petri dishes around the country, cities, states that have done different policies, and let's just compare them. And I think Hillary Clinton is going to clean Scott Walker's clock. Is going to clean Jeb Bush's clock.
I got you. Hey, listen, by the way, I'm from Texas, so you really don't want to get into that argument with me about a red state versus a blue state. Liz, I want to bring you in. React to what David just said.
Well, there are a lot of blue states we can talk about, like Illinois, Maryland, et cetera. But actually, I'd like to go back to Hillary's talks about income inequality and recall that, in fact, the division between highest percentile and lowest in terms of income began under Bill Clinton's presidency. So that's sort of an issue for her, it seems to me, because that's kind of the grounding that she has. It really has a lot to do with outsourcing of jobs and the globalization of jobs, et cetera. But here's what I would like to see Hillary talk about and what Republicans need to talk about. It really comes down to wage stagnation. That's what we have. And the reason we have wage stagnation is that there are 93 million Americans of working age who are not working. That's an enormous overhang in the labor market. Just as housing prices couldn't recover when there were too many unsold houses, so wages are not going to go up until a lot of those people are put back to work. We need a growth agenda. We need job creation, not legislated increases in wages, which everything shows depresses the demand for labor. That's just exactly backwards.
Hey, David, I want to bring you in on that point. I mean, Chipotle and Starbucks already laying people off or raising prices because they've decided to raise the minimum wage. Hillary Clinton's talking about raising minimum wage, talking about taking it from the rich and spreading the wealth around a little bit. Tell me how that works in the real world when you know people have to lose their jobs for those people in the boardroom to keep on collecting their checks. They're not going to lose profit over this, even if the optics look good. Go ahead.
So this happens to be the most studied subject in all of economics, the minimum wage. And what my conservative colleague just espoused is the conservative view. And on the other hand, you have the progressive view that shows wage growth contributing to consumption and a virtuous cycle wherever you have wage increases with the minimum wage the floor. There's evidence on both sides. I think what we have to conclude, though, is that we are all in agreement that wage stagnation and income inequality are the economic issues of our day. And now we ask the question, does growth alone get us a resolution of that problem? Our side says growth alone, when you have an economy where the top 1% are controlling roughly 90% of the assets, growth alone does not get you wage growth that grows the middle class. It simply does not. And we've seen evidence of that. You don't have to, again, don't take my word for it as if this is some sort of hypothetical example. When Bill Clinton was president, we had historically the smallest gap between the lowest quartile and the top quartile. When George Bush was president...
Well, hold on. I got to stop you there because Clinton was lucky enough to have a Congress that was on the right. I'm almost running out of time. I got to go back to Liz to get a follow-up on that. I want to give you both fair time. Go ahead, Liz.
I think what's going to happen is that you're going to raise the minimum wage in industries where that is the prevailing wage, like restaurants and fast food, and you're going to see automation take place. I mean, we've already seen some companies begin to test market automated hamburger flipping. Okay, that's kind of a joke, but the answer is that puts people out of work, and that's what's going to happen if you continue to jack up wages artificially. We need push on wages to come from the marketplace.
It's a great conversation. Liz, David, thank you so much for coming on Prime tonight. We want to hear from you, and now it's easier than ever. I want you to check out our social media. You can send your comments via email, Facebook, Twitter. You can also send your comments, newsmaxtv.com/comments. We appreciate you taking the time, both of you. Back after this.